Somewhere in your lab, a result was recorded 2 days after the test. A number was changed, and no one can say who or why. On paper, everything passed. But if you can't prove how a result came to be, then to a regulator, it never really happened. This is data integrity, and it decides whether your science can be trusted. In this first part, we'll cover what data integrity really means, the ALCOA plus principles behind it, and the 2 families of controls that protect your data. Data integrity failures aren't abstract. A major generics manufacturer retested materials after failing results, until the numbers looked acceptable. The outcome? Dozens of products banned from its largest export market, approvals withdrawn, penalties over $500 million. Another laboratory altered results in the software to make failing products pass. It closed for good, and the pattern repeats far beyond Pharma. A global automaker built software that could tell when it was being tested, and reported cleaner results than reality. Notice what these share. Almost none began as deliberate fraud. They began as small shortcuts, poor practice, and pressure to make data fit, and ended as permanent regulatory records. That's the real risk, not one dramatic act, but everyday habits nobody wrote down. So, what is data integrity? Precisely? It's the completeness, consistency, and accuracy of your data, from the moment it's created to the moment it's finally destroyed. The whole life cycle. It applies equally to paper, to electronic records, and to the hybrid systems in between. And it's a state you maintain, not a box you tick once. It also helps to be clear about what data integrity is not. It's not just an IT or software topic. Behavior and procedures matter just as much. It's not only about fraud. Most findings come from poor practice, not intent. It's not something you can buy. A compliant system that's badly configured or carelessly used still fails. And it's not optional for smaller labs. Expectations scale with risk, not with the size of your company. Put simply, a perfect instrument with careless data handling still fails inspection. The internationally adopted test for good data is called ALCOA Plus, 9 principles, and every record should pass all of them. Miscellaneous, attributable. You can trace who acquired or changed the data, tied to one unique person. Legible, readable, and permanent, for the whole retention period. Contemporaneous, recorded at the time the work is done, not tidied up 2 days later. Original, the first capture of the data, or a certified true copy. Accurate, correct, truthful, reflecting what actually happened. Those 5 are the classic ALCOA. The plus adds 4 that inspectors now weigh just as heavily. Complete, all the data, including reprocessing, failures, and repeats. Consistent, in the expected chronological sequence, with synchronized time. Enduring, protected and retrievable throughout retention. And available, accessible for review the moment someone asks. Remember, ALCOA Plus isn't a poster on the wall. It's a checklist your data must pass. Every record, every day, in every system you run. Here's where many labs get caught. In a chromatography lab, far more counts as raw data than people expect. Not just the final number, it's the acquired data file, every injection, including the aborted and failed runs. It's the acquisition and processing methods, every version, every manual integration event. The sequence tables, the calibration data, the system suitability results, and the audit trails and logbooks, because metadata is part of the record too. This is where the classic misconception bites. The printout is the raw data. It isn't. A static PDF or paper printout can't capture dynamic, reprocessable data. Flatten it, and the reprocessing history is gone. Inspectors know this. They ask for the electronic records first, then compare them to your paper. So if your system recorded it, an inspector can ask for it, deleted test injections included. Who requires all this? Many documents, but one shared expectation. In the United States, 21 CFR Part 11 governs electronic records and signatures. In Europe, EU GMP Annex 11 covers computerized systems. The World Health Organization and PICS publish the data integrity guidance inspectors actually work from. and the ICH and pharmacopoeial chapters set the wider quality and qualification context. They differ in origin, not in what they demand. Prove your data is trustworthy with technical controls, not promises. And this isn't a foreign requirement. In Egypt, the drug authority inspects against these same expectations: audit trails, access control, electronic records, the very questions an FDA or EU inspector would ask. If your site supplies regulated or pre-qualified markets, that bar only rises. Data integrity readiness is market access. How do you actually protect data integrity? With two families of controls, and you need both. The first is procedural, your people. SOPs, training, a data integrity policy, review procedures, self-inspection, and a no-blame culture that lets errors surface instead of hiding. Their weakness is obvious. They rely on people doing the right thing, every single time, even on the busiest day. The second family is technical, your systems. Access control, audit trails, electronic signatures, secure storage and backup, and validated built-in calculations. These are enforced by the software itself. They can't be skipped when the lab is under pressure. Their strength? They turn policy into physics. The system simply won't allow the wrong thing to happen. Neither replaces the other. Procedures without technical enforcement are wishful thinking. Technical controls without procedures are unused features. Everything we've covered lives on a single map, the data lifecycle. Every regulated record passes through 6 stages. It's generated at the instrument, processed into a result, reviewed by a second person, reported into a certificate or a decision, retained, securely and readily, for years, and finally destroyed, deliberately, and on the record. Integrity has to survive every one of these stages. One weak link, and the whole record becomes questionable. In Part 2, we'll follow this exact map and meet the 5 technical controls that stand guard over it. Access control, the audit trail, electronic signatures, secure storage, and validated calculations. If your work touches QC data, this is exactly the ground we cover in depth. We're running a free, practical webinar on the data integrity gaps most common in chromatography, how to spot them and close them before an inspection does. Follow CoreLab Technologies to catch the date.